Hey, what's up guys? It's Brian the Gamer here. Today we're going to be doing a short little video on how to manage runes and masteries. I want to make a little bit more of these tutorial videos, a little bit more, just so you guys can be informed on the latest runes and masteries, how to manage them, when to buy them, the proper way to actually do these things. So yeah. We're going to be going over runes, and we're going to go over masteries, just because it's not too long of a video, it should be. So, usually, when you start the game out, you start with two masteries, and usually what they want you to do is they want you to have a page for AP and page for AD. Now, AP can go a lot of ways. Well, I'm going to just start off on when you should buy runes. You should only buy runes if they are tier 3. I think you get them at level 20 and up, but you should only buy runes at tier 3 because it seems that tier 2 and tier 1 they are cheaper, but you should be spending that IP on champions, figuring out what champion you want to main. But the stats aren't really worth it, so if you wait till like tier 3, then definitely you are going to get a better impact on the game because these do give you stats, and the stats of tier 3 are just way better in general. Rune pages do get expensive, I will say this. They cost about 10,000 IP or some just to get a full rune page, in the thousands definitely, since it costs 590 riot points I think to get a rune page and 6,000 IP. I do not recommend getting rune pages with IP. That's just way too much IP being wasted. Just get them with RP. It's just way cheaper. For my AP, I have greater quintessences of ability power, and I just have really scaling mana on my seals. These are quintessences. Quintessences are usually the bigger ones. Seals are usually can you can just basically have a little bit of everything. You can have ability power, armor, or health. But for this, I have mana. For my reds, these are reds. Reds usually you have just a standard damage. I have magic pen, greater mark of magic penetration reds. And for my seals, I just have some magic resist, and I think I have, just magic resist. Magic resist is always good to have in your runes, especially on your glyphs, just because, you're always going to be versing, some magic damage, so it's always good to have those. So you basically can see your total stats on the side. Trust me, guys, these do impact your game a little bit. You might not feel it, but it will. Runes just make a difference on how, if you want to start a new champion and want to have a certain rune page, of course you're going to do a little bit better on the champion because, the runes kind of synergize with this kit or whatever. So AD is pretty simple. I just have greater quintessence of AD, attack damage, and for my seals, I have health. My glyphs, I have greater mark of AD, just to get a bunch, and magic resist per level. Now, this is just an easy rune page to make. For AD, it just gives me the physical damage I need, more health, and more magic resist. So it really goes well with just any kind of, AD. Now, this is optional. You can have up to 20 rune pages. Now, rune pages take a while to accumulate just because of how expensive they can get. They're not too expensive, but you have to play a lot in order to get the IP because these still do just cost RP. I think they used to cost RP in the past, but I guess they don't anymore. So there's that. So for my assassin runes, these are just for me. I have greater quintessence of attack speed. Just to take on like Zed or whatever. I like having the attack speed. It's kind of nice. To 80 quints. For my seals, I usually like to have armor. It just helps with being less squishy because assassins usually don't build too much tank, so it helps with just the squishiness general. Just greater marks of AD armor penetration. Just helps with the overall burst since assassins usually have armor pen or usually are just always gonna be able to kill the squishies or whatever. My seals, my glyphs are kind of weird. I just have cooldown reduction, greater glyphs of cooldown reduction, and 2 glyphs of magic resist. So this gives me actually 11% cooldown reduction at level 18. So definitely it helps with cooldown reduction just in general. And for my last one, I just have attack speed AD. This is what I take on Shaco. It's really strong. I'm just going to go over this real fast. Greater quintessence of attack speed. My seals are just the armor again. My greater marks of AD, and my glyphs are just magic resist. If you can see a pattern here, usually you just want to have some magic resist, or you can build, especially rune pages against heavy AD teams or heavy AP teams, or usually if you don't have much rune pages like me, usually you're just gonna always have the magic resist with it. So there's runes. Remember, do not buy runes unless they're tier 3. Do not do it unless you're comfortable with spending the IP, because it does take a while to accumulate this. But once you finish your rune page, trust me, it is worth it, because it does help a lot in your games. Over Masteries. Masteries did have some changes since Season 6. Now you have, well, just the Keystone Masteries. So I have a lot of I have a lot of mastery pages. Usually you want to have mastery pages for a lot of champions, or just for any kind of class. AP over time, AD assassin, tank support, where I take on Thresh, Yasuo, jungle Nasus, AD Shaco. You can make a rune page for almost anything. Now this is my standard AD carry. As you can see, you take Fury. Now there's a lot of ways you can do this. But I'm mainly going to talk about the Keystone Masteries, since, these Masteries are optional. Just pick which one you think is the best. It's really just personal preference, or you could look them up online if you want to be sure you're in the right Masteries. Usually for Warlords Bloodlust, you want to take it on champions that are good with lifesteal. Yasuo, Olaf, Tryndamere. These champions scale really well with lifesteal when they're getting low. So you could take them on those. It's not as much for range champions, but usually you don't see too much range champions taking it. Feather Battle, usually for champions that are just want to scale with, attack speed. I take this on Kled, and it's really good. Attack speed, Feather Battle is good for AD carries, really. Deathfire Touch is more for sustained damage. If you have abilities that are damage over time, like Malzahar, Brand, then you would take this. I take it on Jhin too. It's really good on Jhin. You can see the stats right there. I can't really explain Deathfire Touch too much because I don't use it as much, but it does become useful. Swimmer Surge is not the most used mastery, but it does come good. I take it on Echo sometimes. It does work well. Some damage you do to a champion really just gives you some movement speed. So it's useful for some champions that are semi-mobile. Thunderlord's Decree, usually you see this on a lot of people, but I don't see it as much anymore since it's less versatile. Usually you want to take this for a lot of burst, especially on Zed or LeBlanc, or, this is just standard, it's just a lot of burst, just with the damage it can do. It does a lot of damage, especially if you do a lot of burst. Definitely great. One Speaker's Blessing is mainly for supports. Heals and shields are 10% stronger, and your shields and heals on allies increase the armor. So if you heal like a Soraka or like a Lulu, then you would take this, of course, because it does help a little bit. Rest Me Undying, usually top laners take this because it does give you lifesteal if you hit an enemy champion. So if you scale good with lifesteal like Nasus or Tryndamere, then you would take this because it is really good just for standing in lane. Strength of Mages, usually you want to take this in the jungle. It gives you more health on siege minions or large monsters. Usually you get 300 health the more you stack it. At 300 health is the max, but definitely if you are a tanky jungler, then you would take this, of course, if you want to be more tanky. Bond of Stone, this is mainly for damage supports, I think. It's damage reduction instead of forget. Okay, so if someone attacks your AD carry and you're the support, then they're gonna take less damage because you're gonna take it more. That's kind of how it works. Usually, if you want to be an assassin, you want to be mobile, then you would take assassin, merciless, movement speed combat. Savagery, depends on how good you're CSing. Usually, mastery pages are usually 18, 12, and 0, or 12, 18, 0, or 18, 0, 12. It could be a lot of different combinations. If you want AP, you go this route. Attack speed. I'm just going to show you in standard AP. Usually this is what you would take for an AP mid laner, you know, Thunderlords, the Biscuits. Um, it's really versatile, you guys. Make one that suits you. You know, if you have a favorite champion that you play a lot, make one for him. These masteries do, well, they are impactful in the game, and they are a nice interaction with your champion since they are free and you can have just a lot of them. So make sure to always make these with your runes. Remember to always in champion select change your runes and masteries because they, like I've said, make a difference. So I think that's it for today, guys. Item sets are a thing too. If you're interested in those, I don't really make too many. If you want to have like a certain build for a champion, then you could make these, you know. But, you know, you can always do the recommended or just do your own build. It doesn't need to always be this. This is a fail right there. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See you guys in the next one.